from Queens, New York, originally from the Dominican Republic, and I am a business coach to women. I am a founding partner for the business of We for Women Entrepreneurs, myself and Karina Garden. She's an event planner here in New York City, and she and I decided to put together a business event. We wanted to focus on fostering those collaborations and partnerships within women, specifically for those growing a business or a startup, or even transitioning out of corporate or as an executive career professional, and being able to finally make that side hustle more of a business. My background is in finance and human resources. I took business administration in college, and it happens to be that my family members, they brought me in to handle some of the financial aspects of the business. And even though that was great and gave me some valuable experience, you don't always want to work for your family, because you end up working 7 days a week. Summers when you want to be in the beach and hanging out with friends. So I didn't have the freedom that I wanted to. So eventually I said, let me just do this in corporate. And it's been an amazing experience. I've been able to grow other businesses. But once I was able to grow with these companies, I realized that there was a ceiling. There was a glass ceiling. You know, you commute into the city. It's a total of about 10 hours. And if you think about those hours and you can only make a certain amount of money, and there's not much room or flexibility for your own creativity. And I think we all have to seek that natural creativity that we all have and born with. And you're not always allowed to do that in corporate. You're not allowed to do that in certain companies. So I kind of started seeing it that I said, if I can replace those hours or transition those hours that I'm putting into this company and start doing my own, I may be able to be more creative. What excites me the most about what I do is the connections that I'm making with these women, and they're solid connections, and I feel the warmth and the genuine support with these women, and I've come to know them, most of them personally, and we support one another. I am one of the contributing authors for the first volume of Today's Inspired Latina. Jackie Camacho Ruiz is an amazing woman that happens to be behind the project of Today's Inspired Latina. And she's a 7-time author, and she decided that this book was going to be different. She wanted to feature women, Latina women from around the country, to tell their story of success in the face of adversity. My personal journey is pretty interesting because I had sought the same path that many Latinos do here in New York City, where I went ahead and got married to my high school boyfriend. We had the big Catholic wedding. I had my daughter a year and a half later, and I would say about 3 years later, I realized that we weren't really wanting the same things in life. So I had to make the very tough decision of becoming a single mom. And I think that's what kind of took a little bit longer of a path for me to finally do seek that entrepreneurial path, because being a single mom, of course, I wanted to make sure that I had the means to support my daughter and to do everything I can for her. The hardest thing in my life was probably when I decided to go back to school when my daughter was about 9 years old. I thought, you know what? The way for me to grow in these companies was to go back to school. And I realized that was a little bit harder when, as a single mom, and you have to pay for school and you have to do this part-time. And believe it or not, the toughest part of that was that I thought I had an ally in my ex-husband, thinking he was going to support me in this growth of this new part of my life. And instead, I faced a very difficult custody battle. And it was the lowest point in my life, but I will say it was my turning point. And I decided to give up going back to school, and instead I decided to seek mentors and seek more of that interpersonal growth. And that's where I met some amazing healers, mentors, coaching. That's when I discovered this whole coaching world I didn't know anything about. And I think they really were some of the people that brought me to the path that I am today. And I'm very grateful for that. When I turned 40, I think that was like an epiphany for me that I am now stepping into this new womanhood. My daughter's going to be going off to college very soon, so why not do something for myself? How could I do more? I mean, this is great. The finance and the human resources gave me so much valuable experience, but I said, how could I do more? How could I empower, inspire, and motivate others, delivering that value, inspiring that change that needs to be had? And it was through these coaches. And I decided why not get certified myself. And I realized that I was able to empower other women, and it was really who I was being at the time. I knew that I was stepping into a new level of confidence as a woman. And we all know as women that as you grow older, there's a wisdom about you that, hey, you can never take back. I mean, and you wish at a younger age you can step into that, but you have to experience certain things first. So I had stepped into this new confidence level, and I realized that this is what was needed for some of these women to open up their paths to do greater things. So that's one of the things how I start. It's a fundamental piece that I use in my coaching. Is called Power Up Your Confidence. If there's anything that I would love to share with other women is the fact that if you do have a story that needs to be told, someone else needs to listen to it. And I know for a lot of people it's hard to speak in public. I think that's one of the number one fears. But you have to remember that that's a message that you're giving, and it has nothing to do with you. It's about you being able to deliver that message and changing the life of another person. That story for me would be the fact that I struggled through a very tough custody battle, and there's so many things that we feel we know, and there's so much anger going on, and we realize that anger, that bitterness comes up to the surface, and at the end of the day there's a child here that needs that guidance and support from you. It took me a little bit longer than I wanted to heal from that situation, but I realized that I was going through my own growth, and because of that I was able to heal myself slowly. And that's one thing that you have to remember. If there's anything in your life that you feel you haven't healed from, do the work. The work is required for you to move forward into a new beginning, a better life. And it starts with being able to recognize what bitterness or what feelings are you still harboring towards that person, any type of anger. If you still feel like some negative emotion pops up when you just think about it, just thinking about it, then you know that you still have to do the work for it. The thing I'm most looking forward to is watching my daughter grow into a beautiful young lady. She's in her second year of college now, and I see the beautiful things that she's doing in her life and how she's growing, and I can see the spark in her eye and what she wants. And I remember that, and I wish that I had that guidance to allow me to be free instead of feeling that I had to seek a certain path to make things right. Instead, I want to give her the freedom to choose exactly what it is she wants to do. I'm proud to be a Latina because of the value that is given to us from birth. I think it's very important that Latinas stand for one another and support one another. And I think if we really just think about how we can be more in our very humble beginnings, in our vulnerability, and in our nurturing state, how we can do so much more for this world, specifically with what we're watching around us, and how we can be that leader and approach everything with that nurturing love. I think Latinas have that power. They have the power to do that.